We assume a bullied student will eventually ask for help. We wait for them to raise their hand, send an email, or stay after class. But a student experiencing cyberbullying is likely to stay completely silent. They might be embarrassed by the messages they are receiving, afraid the harassment will escalate if they speak up, or they may simply assume that adults do not understand how digital platforms work. The harassment itself occurs in a digital vacuum. The rumors, edited photos, and cruel messages live entirely on personal devices, buried in hidden social feeds and private group chats. This creates a difficult paradox for educators. The primary threat is invisible to you, yet the emotional and psychological damage plays out directly in your physical classroom. Because the attack is hidden and the victim is silent, the daily proximity of a teacher provides a unique vantage point to catch the early warning signs that others might miss. Catching digital harm before it escalates relies on your ability to decode shifts in their physical reality. The first place to look is right at the boundary between their physical and digital worlds, their personal technology habits. Watch for sudden device-related anxieties. A student might tense up visibly when their phone receives a notification, or rapidly flip their screen face down the moment an adult walks by. Some students swing to the opposite extreme. They might abruptly stop using their devices altogether, delete their social media accounts without warning, or flatly refuse to explain why their online activities are upsetting them. These localized tech habits are often the first physical tremors, indicating a much larger, invisible digital event. Eventually, that hidden stress bleeds outward, affecting a student's general classroom performance. You might notice a previously active student suddenly missing assignments. They might struggle to hold concentration during simple tasks or start chronically arriving late to school. These academic drops rarely happen in an emotional vacuum. They are often paired with unusual irritability, sudden outbursts of anger, or a withdrawal from school activities they once enjoyed. As the stress deepens, it begins to fracture the broader classroom dynamics. Look for sudden, unexplained exclusions from established friend groups. You might see classmates whispering or laughing immediately after looking at a screen, while the targeted student walks away to sit entirely alone during breaks. This chart illustrates how these signs appear in isolation. Any single blinking point here, one missed assignment or one bad mood, is not necessarily evidence of cyberbullying. Effective assessment relies on pattern recognition. It is the constellation of indicators, sudden academic changes, repeated social withdrawal, and device anxiety sustained over time that establishes a clear need for intervention. Effective intervention requires seeing the whole board. You have to synthesize these isolated behavioral, academic, and social anomalies into a cohesive understanding of the student's needs. Once you identify that clear behavioral pattern, it is time to initiate contact. How you start this conversation matters. Do not question the student in front of their peers. Do not assign blame, and do not pressure them for immediate answers. Never promise complete secrecy. You have to clearly communicate that keeping them safe may eventually require involving specific school personnel. Instead, pull the student aside in a private, calm setting. Use neutral, supportive framing to open the door, like, "I noticed that you seem worried lately. Is there something you would like to talk about?" Your objective in this initial conversation is not to extract a full confession. Your goal is to build a safe bridge out of their isolation. As an educator, you do not need to become a digital forensics expert, and you should never attempt to investigate a cyberbullying situation on your own. Your primary responsibility is documentation. Write down the specific timeline of events and the exact behavioral patterns you observed, keeping your notes entirely objective. Then execute your school's reporting procedures. Hand that documentation over to specialized personnel, whether that is a guidance counselor, a school psychologist, or the administration. The threat is complex, but your role is straightforward. You are the link between a silent student and the professional help they need to navigate a hostile digital landscape. Notice the signs, listen with care, report responsibly.